Hey guys, it's Will. Welcome to the channel. I'm a part-time day trader trying to become a full-time. We still have one more week left of trading and this week is not over yet. We do still have the Friday right here and so far I'm down about $220. If I add the trade today that I lost, I'm down probably about 260 or maybe 280. I don't know. But I lost about like $50 today. So I'm actually down a lot. But that money that I lost today was from paper trading. I am actually switching to paper trading because I feel like I'm just not reading the market right. I'm not doing well, so I don't really want to lose all this money for no reason. Although I believe I can be consistent, it's like just me thinking that if I just keep losing, then I'm just gonna be in a bigger hole. Like I'll be losing 300, 400. To say that the money doesn't matter is probably gonna be a lie because I rather not lose the money that I worked so hard for. If I'm not being consistent, if I'm not being disciplined, then there's no point of me trying to this trade with my real money because eventually I'm gonna have to add more money into my account. If I do add more money, that's gonna feel like I'm losing money because I'm taking money from my bank account. Losing the money is not really what's making me mad. The thing that's making me mad is like I'm not following my process. I'm not following my plan. And that's what really matters because I can make back the money easily like once I get consistent. But there's no point of me losing like random money. The past week I've been backtesting a lot and I'm just honestly trying to understand what my A+ strategy means to me, what my A+ setup means to me. My setup is the break and retest. I always say everything's A+. Everything I trade is A+. But when I look out further, when I look at the market structure, I'm just taking random trades. When I'm actually trading and I look at a 2-minute time frame, I'm like, this looks A+ to me because I'm so used to looking at the patterns and the break and retest. Once I see it on my charts, then I take the trade. And I realized by doing this, I'm charting a lot of levels and sometimes they're actually good. Sometimes they're really good and then the break and retest works. But sometimes when I'm doing bad, like recently, I take the break and retest of random levels that I charted. And although it works sometimes, but I realized I'm just losing too much. If I'm losing too much, that means the levels that I'm charting is just not repeatable. The retest, the strategy that I'm using, my edge, is not A+ anymore. It's not repeatable because there's always different things in the strategy. Just because it does a break and retest, it matters about the context of the market. It matters about if the market structure is going bullish or if it's bearish, then it makes sense. But for me, I have levels and I just take the trade once I see a break and retest. In my past videos, I always say there's always levels in a zone, there's always channels, and inside the zones, I'm not confident in taking the trade. But once it breaks out of the zone, I'm more confident. I always say that, but I never even do that. I just take a trade whenever I see a break and retest. Here's an example of July 16 where I charted these levels. And the reason why I have these levels, because let's go to the NASDAQ first. This is the NASDAQ, this is ES. So first on the NASDAQ, I have this 23,000 level is because it is rejecting right here and then it has holds right here. It also rejected right there. Down here it says June 14 and June 13. So it is from the previous week. We see that the previous day, this is our zone right here for the previous day. It has a pre-market and I still have the zone right here. I still have the zone. But if you see that, it gives you proper confirmation here. Like there's like proper retests. It shows you there's like actual rejections and holds. But when I come to today, which is the June 16, you can see how this area is very choppy, but I still leave that on my charts. Why do I do that? I'm asking that question to myself and I don't know why I have that. I think I just place charts on my levels. I place key levels on my chart and call it my key levels because it has more reactions on these days. So I'm like, okay, maybe it could have reactions there. That's why I leave it there. What happens is that I just take random trades in this zone when it doesn't make sense. Looking to the right, we see the ES now. I have the 6300 and I have the 6280 and I have the 6260. The 6300 is level is because this day is right here, messy, choppy, but it does reject here in the morning and then hold. It holds right there and then it holds the next day and then it gets back up and it rejects exactly at 6300. And also the pre-market exactly 6300. And actually I didn't have that level before because I thought it was choppy, but it actually retested properly. If I actually do look at the closer time frames, it does react properly to the 6300. It has more reactions on like the June 12th and like the previous days. I also have 6280. It's because it does reject right there. It has holds right there, holds, and then pre-market it rejected multiple times right there. What I was trying to wait for was a break and retest of the level. So if I did have a break and retest, then I'll take the level right there. But then what it ended up doing, if I do go to the 2-minute time frame, we have the 6280 right there, the 6300. And the NASDAQ, I had the 23,000 and then the 22,900. I did miss the trade over here, but I didn't have it in my charts and I just said I missed it. So I probably got some FOMO and then I was trying to look for a trade. So what did I do? I didn't wait for this break and retest. I saw that the NASDAQ was breaking down this trade and then I waited for the retest. You see how it just breaks down? There's not really any retest. So then once it does go retest the level, I saw rejection right there. But then at the same time, I saw the ES get bought back up right there. At that time, I was debating if I wanted to get into the trade because I was saying, is this ES going to really break that level? Although I was saying that in my head, I was thinking, is it really gonna break? And then I still took the trade anyways, probably because I wanted to make money. I wanted to take a trade. On that week, I did not take a trade on Monday, did not take a trade on Tuesday. I was being patient, being disciplined, didn't take any trades. On Wednesday, I missed this trade right here. And then once I saw something, when I saw something on my chart, I saw a break and retest, I just tried taking it right there. But if I go to the 30 minutes on the NASDAQ and I see the level of the 23,000 that I played off of, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how I had that level right there. It's so choppy that it just really dumb. And then when I go to the 2 minutes, the market that was clear was the ES because it had better reactions on the levels, and all I had to do was wait for a break and retest. It does do the break right here and then gives you the retest, but that's a bit too aggressive. But I should even have this NASDAQ level right here. For this month and last month, I realized that I've been kind of charting a bit too much. And although I do have really good trades, I have some very good trades that worked out, but that was only sometimes. Most of the trades I've been taking are losses because I'm charting levels, but they aren't super clear, and I just take it and I lose. During the weekend and last week, I was back testing like crazy and just trying to understand why my break and retest works and understand what has made it work in the first place. If you're asking me why I haven't done this in the past, why I haven't like practiced my strategy, I did multiple times, but sometimes you realize things after like a year of trading or 2 years is like, why the fuck did I not even do this before? It took me 8 months to realize how much I was actually risking when I was doing options. That's crazy. It took me 8 months. It's in your face. You just keep trading, and then you don't even know what you're even doing. I trade every day. I say that everything's my A+ strategy, but it's actually not. Now I'm really diving deep into why my trade works in the first place. Is the NASDAQ breaking down? And if it's breaking down on this level, is the ES also breaking down? It's like I had to make sure every single detail is so detailed that every time when I take a trade, it's so A+ that I just have a higher % win rate. I usually take about 1 or 2 trades in a week. Usually about 1 to 2 trades in a week. 1 or 2 trades. Sometimes 3, but on average, if I do like add up my trades in total in a month, it is usually about 1 or 2 trades a week. It's not a lot of trades, but less is more. It'll be nice to just trade every day and then make money every day, but my specific strategy is just not every day. And all I have to do is wait and be patient for it, and it'll show up to me. Obviously increase size over time. If your strategy is A+ and you do take them, you can do really well. I feel like I'm being patient. I'm not taking a lot of trades. I'm still being disciplined, trying to take a few trades. As you see, I'm only taking 1 trade a week, 2 trades a week. But the only thing I'm doing is like I'm just reading market structure wrong, and also I'm charting like random levels, or I'm just taking random trades and I'm just missing the good ones. Another example is July 17. The way I showed you guys earlier was July 16. So this was like the day I was showing you guys how it was really choppy. And then I do have this level right here. You can see how it is like the highs right here, the highs, and then it holds right there, the highs. And then on the ES, it has the 6,300 still. It's still like holding on the pre-market. Rejections, and that was still a level in the market. You see how it does a perfect break and retest right there? That was a good long. It does it here too, break and retest long. Going to the 2 minutes, we do see that it does retest the level, and then it just wicks back a lot of times. I was thinking of taking a trade, but I was kind of debating, and then it went up here. I just kind of hesitated too much, and I just missed the trade. And then once it worked, it actually hit my 3-to-1. And then since I missed the trade, I was kind of getting some FOMO, and I was trying to look for a trade now. What I decided to do later was try to long it still, even though I missed the trade right there. If I look at the ES, I was waiting for also this break and retest right here, but I did not get it. You see how it just kind of went up, and then this retest is a bit too far, so I didn't take it. Since I didn't take it, I was like, okay, let me look at the NASDAQ. I see this pre-market high right there. I see this intraday high right there. It does the break. It's like retesting this supply zone for like a temporarily. I started seeing a wick right there. Once I started seeing that, I was like, okay, if it gets above this wick right here, I can take a long, and this could be like the break and retest long right there. What I really did here was I just completely ignored the supply rejection that I had on the market, and that's why it just fell back down. Later day, I was like, let me just actually wait for the break and retest. Let me actually see that it breaks above this level and then does a retest. Later day, I actually just shorted the market instead. It breaks down, it comes up to retest a level. I see like wicks. I'm also seeing the ES break down as well, and I'm like, okay, let me just try shorting this level. And then I just lost right there. If I just waited and I just waited for the proper plan that I was sticking to and waited for the setup to be like there, I would have won in the trade. But I just did some random stupid things. And we're also in a bullish market. So why am I even trying to short the market at all? And if I'm being honest, I don't even know why. I even said in my head, we're in a bullish market. Is this really gonna break down? But I still take the trade. If I'm looking back at why the NASDAQ was working, why this 23,175 was working, It's because it was the wick high right there of the rejections, and this was also the all-time highs right there. So that was a level. You see how it gets bought back down like pretty much around the area, and then once it did reject right exactly at the area on the intraday, then all I had to do was just wait for the break and retest. But what did I do? I did some random stupid things, and that's why I lost. I feel like recently I'm also like not doing as well, is because the way I'm charting is a bit different, and I'm trying to make it more clear. The levels I've been charting are a little bit different from what I normally do. It's the same strategy, but since I'm changing things up a little bit, it's gonna take time for me to adjust, and that's why I feel like I'm losing more than I should, and just trying to understand what I'm trying to do, and that's why I'm like backtesting a lot. So obviously I don't want to lose. That's why I'm paper trading, trying to make sense of this strategy, my A+ strategy, and what my A+ strategy really means to me, and really figure out what's the A++ strategy that I need to have, and that's gonna have me a better win rate. And what I like to say is, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Keep staying disciplined, keep staying consistent, and let's just get 1% better every day, and I'll see you in the next one.